Hi everyone. If you clicked on this video thinking that I'm going to show a fixed number of hours to be spent every single day in order to crack the CAT exam, then you're right, but you're wrong at the same time. You're right because you are going to get a certain number of fixed hours to be spent per day, but you're wrong because I am not going to give that number to you. You are going to give that to yourself using a method that I'll be highlighting in this video. It's very easy to fall into this trap of believing that if a topper has spent X number of hours studying every day, and if you reciprocate the same, you'll be able to produce the same results. It does not work. Why? Because every single person has a different capacity to solve questions per day. You may have a capacity of being productive to a certain extent, whereas someone else might be more productive than you and might be getting more things done in lesser time. This was exactly what was shared by Triambak in his interview video as well.
Suppose if I have a capacity of solving 5 questions in a minute, then I will be solving 50 questions in 10 minutes. And someone who has a capacity of solving 50 questions in an hour will definitely be studying for an hour to solve 50 questions, and the smarter one will be doing it in 10 minutes. And this is genuinely the reality amongst everyone. And I feel that you should practice until you are able to get the desired result.
So if someone in front of you is sharing that you need this many number of hours, then they are certainly wrong because they don't know your individual capacity. They are only talking about themselves. So what is that method that you can use in order to arrive the number of hours you need in order to crack this exam? Let's talk about that. There are two parts to your CAT preparation journey. First is finishing off the basics and second is working on your mock scores. Now I am going to talk about the strategy to calculate number of hours in the first leg of your journey, but the same can be used in the second leg as well. So let's talk about the 4 steps that are there in this process. The first step of this process is to define your basic syllabus. Now basics essentially mean clarifying the concepts of each and every type. This may involve watching YouTube videos or reading the theory of each chapter or even solving questions of each type to solidify the concepts. Now each person has a pre-existing level of comfort with the different types. I cannot state what is the basics material for you. You are going to define how many books you need, how many chapters you need to solve up to the level of LOD 2, or how many chapters you need to solve only up to the level of LOD 1. Once you have defined the total resources that you are going to use, you need to arrive at the total number of questions you need to solve in each section. Now it may be easy to do it with QA because all you need is to open the index of your book and check the number of questions in each type, but it may be difficult to do it in VARC or DILR where there are unlimited number of RCs or sets that you can solve. So here you can use an umbrella number basis your understanding of your existing level of preparation and how much work you need to put in each section in order to get better at it. So by the end of step 1, you will have section wise number of questions to be solved in your entire basics preparation journey. Now we will move on to step number 2, which is to set a deadline for yourself. I remember sharing in a video on daily routine that when I was a student at Time Institute, initially I was following their strategy of basics completion. So whatever they taught in the coaching institute, I just practiced it coming home. But after that, I realized around May that if I follow their schedule, I may end up finishing my basics by September end, which will be too late and I will not have enough time to work on my scores. So then I took partial control first and then full control of my preparation, wherein I decided to set a deadline for myself when I would be done with my basics, and that deadline for myself was July end. Now you don't have to choose July end as your deadline as well. It is very individualistic and it depends on you how much time will you need to cover off the basics, but set a deadline for sure and don't extend it beyond August end. That's what my suggestion would be. Once you have a deadline, calculate the total number of days left till the deadline, either starting from today or when your preparation would actually begin. So you will arrive at the total number of days that are available in order to cover off your basics, and in the first step you also arrived at the total number of questions that needed to be solved. So step 3 calls for arriving at your daily or weekly targets. Now I used weekly targets because they gave me more flexibility to choose how much I solve every single day, but you can also use daily targets. In order to illustrate this, let's say that you are going to solve these many number of questions in your entire basics preparation, and let's say that you are starting in the mid of May and you are planning to finish it by the mid of August, then you will have these many number of days available. Now when I divide the number of questions of each section by the number of days available, you'll be able to arrive at your daily target in terms of number of questions to be solved per day. Step 4 is to estimate the average time you take in order to solve a question of each section. Now, please note I said the average time you take and not the time that you should take. Think how much time you spend on solving a question when there is no time pressure on you. Arrive at that number for each section individually. Now, all you need to do is to multiply the number of questions you need to solve per day with the number of minutes you need to spend on each question, arriving at the total number of minutes you need to spend per day, thereby arriving at the number of hours you need to spend every single day. And you can maybe have a delta of plus 1 hour because you also need to spend reading newspaper articles or maybe building your GK. So consider all that as well and arrive at the total number of hours you need in order to prepare for CAT every single day. Take it up as an exercise, calculate that number for yourself, and let me know in the comments how many hours will you require in order to finish off your basics. Now, this number will definitely vary person to person because someone who started in May would definitely need to spend more time per day as compared to someone who started in Jan. For example, I started in Jan, so the number was somewhere around 2 to 3 hours per day during the weekdays and probably 3 to 4 hours on the weekends, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, it varied, but the number is going to be different for you. So when you calculate it, if you arrive at a number which is way higher as compared to how much I spent, don't get boggled. It's definitely going to be different. And if you feel like the number is too much for you to focus on, then what you can do is two things. Either you reduce your entire syllabus, so you focus or prioritize on the more important concepts first and consider them as a part of your basics preparation. And second is to cut short on the time that you spend per question. Now that is obviously going to take some time because you need time to get better at reading the question, at understanding the question, but I can share a simple trick that I followed during my preparation. So I did not focus a lot on solving the question. I focused more on attempting the question during my basics preparation. So what I did was to attempt the question, and if I wasn't able to solve it, let's say in 2 or 3 minutes, I would just look at the solution. A lot of people make this mistake of not putting an upper limit to how much time are they going to spend per question. See, if you don't do that, you are going to unnecessarily fret on a question and also get demotivated if you're not able to solve it. Ask yourself, why are you preparing in the first place? Because you're not already good at these concepts and you don't know how to solve them. So the idea behind attempting a question is to learn how the question is to be solved. If you've spent 2 to 3 minutes on that question, you're not able to understand it, it's better to look at the solution and learn how it was to be solved rather than spending 10 to 15 minutes on it trying to solve it but not leading anywhere. So if you put an upper limit, you're going to reduce the total number of minutes that you're going to need in order to cover your basics for that particular day, and thereby reducing the total number of hours that you're going to need in order to finish off your entire basics preparation. So hope this was clear to you, and if you have any doubts regarding this process or if you want to ask something regarding CAT preparation, make use of the comment section. Thanks a lot for watching this.